Okay.
I was gonna say something, but he beat me to it.
All right, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Township Council Special Meeting, May the 17th, 2011, public invited with public participation. Meeting called to order by myself at 7:02 PM. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Here.
Mr. DiPiero.
Here.
Mr. Ferrara.
Here.
Mr. Stanton.
Here.
Council President Fox.
Here. Others present are Mayor Barbario, Jasmine Lim, our Business Administrator, Ruby Malcolm, our Chief Financial Officer, Joe Falcone, Township Auditor,
No.
Judy Silver, Township Clerk. Please stand for the flag salute. Vinnie?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, on assignments, Councilman DePiero, would you do the first one? Ordinance number 2011:5. John Cesaro, would you do the second one? And Brian,
Okay.
the third?
Brian, Council President, the third one is the procedure for the special meeting on the budget. So you need to assign individuals, but you can wait till that happens and they can just volunteer if you want.
I didn't understand that, I'm sorry.
There's the procedure for the budget calls for several resolutions to be read. So you don't really need to assign that until it's time, and then somebody can just offer the motion. I'll
Okay.
make sure.
Okay, formal action may or may not be taken. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
You want to do the adequate notice and...
You want me to do that? Okay. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on April 14, 2011, where it has remained posted since that date. Copies of this notice were mailed by fax to the Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and various other newspapers and local radio stations on April 14, 2011. Read the note, too.
Please.
Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision, Public Access Channel 21 at 2 p.m. on Sundays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
I'm sorry.
Did you do the first ordinance, Mike?
Ordinance 2011:05, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, providing for retirement payouts and authorizing a special emergency appropriation of $895,944, therefore, to be read in title only on second reading and a hearing held thereon.
Second.
The second is by Council President Fox. And I'll call the roll. Council
Please.
President, Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DiPiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
Need to open it up for the public hearing on this
If
ordinance.
anybody would like to comment on this ordinance, please approach the microphone. No? Seeing no one rise. John?
Not
No,
continue.
Mr. DiPiero needs
Oh,
to
I'm
finish.
sorry, Mike's going to continue.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law.
The second,
Second?
Mr. Fox. And I'll call the roll. Council President, Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DiPiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I, Council President?
Go right ahead.
May 17, 2011, ordinance number 2011:06, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Calendar Year 2011 Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-45.14, be read in title only on second reading and a hearing held thereon.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DiPiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton. Council President Fox.
Yes.
Now you need to open the meeting to the public on this ordinance.
Anybody like to approach the microphone and discuss that particular ordinance? Seeing no one rise,
Close the public.
we close the, well, it was on
Close the public
ordinance.
hearing, and then you have to complete that resolution, next resolution.
Have you closed
Mr.
it, Mr.
Sarah.
Fox?
No. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Thank you. May I continue?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore be resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in newspaper according to law.
Second.
Roll
I'm
call,
sorry, the
please.
second one's by Mr. DePiero?
Carol.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Now's the time, Council President, if I may, for the budget portion of this. This is the time fixed for the public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2011. The budget was approved by the Township Council on April 12, 2011, and advertised as required by law on April 22, 2011, together with notice of hearing for this time. The Chief Financial Officer of the Township has certified this budget as in compliance with law. Printed copies have been made available to the public during the past week, and copies are on the table for anyone desiring one. So please step forward and pick up a copy of the budget at this time if you haven't done so. The next thing is a resolution to read the budget by title, so I need you to assign somebody to read that, please, Council President.
Brian?
And that's attachment number 1, Mr. Stanton.
Okay. May 17, 2011, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills. Resolution to read budget by title. Whereas NJSA 40A 4-8 is amended, provides budget shall be read in full at the public hearing, may be read by title only if, 1, at least 1 week prior to the date of hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget, A, shall be made available for public inspection in free public library, if any municipality, free county libraries or regional libraries are located in a municipality, or no county libraries or regional libraries are located in municipality, the county or regional library, the county in which a municipality is located, public officer delegated responsibility for delivering copies of the approved budget to such library shall forward to the governing body as a test, my stomach,
Okay.
that each such delivery was made, and B, made available to each person requesting same during said week and during the public hearing. Now therefore be it resolved, not least majority of full membership Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, hereby declared conditions NJSA 40A 4-A, set forth subsections A, 1B, have been met, and therefore the budget for 2011 shall be read by title only.
Second.
Second by Mr. DePiero.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Now, the second resolution is regarding the Chief Financial Officer certification. You need to assign that, Council President, to someone to read. It is attachment number 2 to your packet.
Vinnie?
May 17, 2011, whereas NJSA 40A:478B has authorized the local finance board to adopt rules that permit municipality in a sound physical condition to assume the responsibility normally granted to the Director of Division of Local Government Service of conducting the annual budget examination, and whereas NJAC 5:30-7 was adopted by the local finance board on February 11, 1997, and whereas pursuant to NJAC 5:30-7, period 2 through 7, period 5, to the following of Parsippany-Troy Hill has been declared eligible to participate in the program by the Division of Local Government Services, and the Chief Financial Officer has determined that the township meets the necessary condition to participate in the program for the 2011 budget year. So now therefore be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills that in accordance with the NJAC 5:30-7, that period 6A and B, and based up on the Chief Financial Officer certification that the governing body has found the budget has met the following requirements. That with reference to the following item, the amount has been calculated pursuant to the law and appropriated as such in the budget. A, payment of interest and debt redemption charges. B, deferred charges and statutory expenditures. Cash deficit of the preceding year. D, reserve for uncollected taxes. E, other reserve and non-disbursement items. F, any inclusions of a month required for school purposes. That the following provision relating to the limitation of increase of appropriation to NJSA 48:4-45, period 2, an appropriation of the expenditure limited appropriation found at 48:4-45, period 3, at SAC, are fully met compliance with the cap law. That the budget is in such form, arrangement, and content of the requirement by the law, budget law, NJAC 5:30-4 and 5:30-5. Number 4, that the pursuant to the local budget law, 8, all estimates of the revenues are reasonable, accurate, and correctly stated. B, items are appropriation or probably set forth. C, intimation for arrangement and content that the budget will permit the exercise of the controller function within the municipality. Number 5, the budget and associated amendment has been introduced and publicly advertised in the accordance with the relevant provision of the local budget law, except that the failure to meet the deadlines of NJSA 40A:4-5 shall not prevent such certification. Number 6, that all other applicable statutory requirements have been fulfilled. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Director of Division of Local Government Service.
Second.
May I call the roll? Thank you. Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Now, Council President, if you just read that statement at the bottom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedures. Each person desiring to be heard will rise and give his or her name and address before speaking, and they should also sign the book. I will recognize one speaker at a time in order of rising as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair. Where necessary, questions will be referred to individual members of the council, municipal officials, or our advisors. Question must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School and county matters are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. I now declare open the public meeting on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2011.
And you want to indicate the amount of time that you're allowing
Yeah,
speaking?
5 minutes. We will also have another opportunity during the regular meeting to address the council also. Seeing no one rise, I close the public portion
I
of
just
this.
want a motion to formally close this, please.
Oh, I need a motion?
So
Yeah, we
moved.
did that on the budget. Mr.
Second.
DePiero? And that was...
Second.
Roll call?
Thank you. Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
And now we need you to sign somebody just to read the resolution to adopt the budget, Council President?
John?
Is it a big one?
And no, and it's attachment number 3.
Just read this.
Just read the top.
Just read it.
You want to, Mr. Falcone, you want to indicate what would be appropriate to read?
Yeah, just the top part.
Ms. Silver, I have 1 and
Attachment.
2, and you said 3?
Attachment number, it's attachment 1 of 2. It's
Oh,
this last
excuse me.
one. I'm sorry.
Okay. How many
Just read that first paragraph.
paragraph?
It says, where it starts, be it resolved,
Okay, and you want me to stop where?
before it gets to summary of revenues.
Levy? By the word levy?
Summary of revenues.
Okay, gotcha. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
May 17, 2011, Section 2, upon adoption for year 2011, only to be included in the budget as finally adopted. Resolution, be it resolved by the Township Council of Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, that the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of A, $39,665,000 and $665,094, item 2 below for municipal purposes, and B is blank, C is blank, D, $1,468,579.16. Sheet 49, open space, recreation, farmland, and historical preservation trust fund levy. E, $3,114,636. Sheet 38, minimum library levy.
Is there
Madam
a
Clerk?
is there a second?
Oh, okay.
That's Mr. Stanton.
Roll
Council
call.
President, may I call the roll? Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
I know, Council President, you indicated that there would be a public hearing on any subject at the regular meeting, but there is an opportunity at this meeting as well, if there's anybody that wants to speak on any general topic. But we will be having a meeting at 7:30 for the same purpose.
We done?
So you can open it for the general public, but with a note to the public that we're doing this again at 7:30.
Anybody wishing to address the council, you have 5 minutes to speak. Please sign in the book and then set your name and address when you come to the microphone. Seeing no one rise, I close the public portion.
And we just need a motion to adjourn
Need a
the special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, can you repeat who the second's
Roll
from?
call.
Piero, Mr. Farrar.
I like it.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox. Could you note the time for the
Yes.
record,
The
please?
time is 7:18.
And we're
Judy-
going to
Judy,
take a break now because we
yeah.
have to go.
We have to wait till
7:30.
7:30, right?
Right, so we'll just pause now and ask the public to please remain for the 7:30 meeting if they're interested in the regular meeting. Thank you.
No, we'll be adjourning till 7:30. Yeah.
Council President, we're now on.
Okay, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of May the 17th, 2011. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December the 15th, 2010, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in both the Daily Record and the Star Ledger, and it was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December the 16th, 2010. Please note, council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision Public Access Channel 21 at 2 p.m. on Sundays, and they were also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net. Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero. Mr. DePiero.
Here.
Mr. Ferrera.
Here.
Mr. Stanton.
Here.
Council President Fox.
Here. Also present is Ms. Jasmine Lynn, our business administrator, Judy Silver, our township clerk, and John Wiskala. Did I get it right?
Close enough.
Who is township council tonight. Will you please rise for the flag salute?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I gotta buy one.
Upcoming meetings on June the 14th, 2011 at 7:30 PM is an agenda meeting. The public's invited, public participation. On June the 21st, 7:30 PM, a regular meeting, public invited, public participation. Bids to be taken, none. Requests for quotations, proposals, or qualifications, none.
Council President, this will be the time to make the assignments.
Yes, I'm
And
right
then
to that right
Ms. Lynn
now.
wants to discuss.
Mike, you do the consent agenda?
There's an ordinance before the consent agenda, Council President.
Oh, I see it, I'm sorry. John, you got it?
Sure. Would you like me to start, Council President?
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wait, I think you're going to make all the assignments first, Mr. Cicero, and
Sure.
as we usually do, so we don't have to interrupt the meeting.
Okay.
You want me to do the consent?
Consent agenda, Mike, please. Minutes for approval. John, you're going to have to,
It's just that agenda,
Brian is going to have to do that, right? Because Mike and I were absent.
right. That's just the agenda meeting, it's not asterisk.
It isn't?
Right, so that's why you assigned it to Mr. Stanton. And then you have to assign all of the introductions.
Okay. All right, Vinnie, would you take the first introduction? On bond ordinance?
Yeah,
Number
it's
5.
listed as number 5
Be
on
number
your
5?
agenda.
Oh, okay.
But
Number 6, Brian? Number 7, Mike? I'll take number 8.
9.
Where's 9? Oh, I'm sorry. Brian, 9. John Cicero, 10.
Okay.
And Vinnie, 11.
And there's one add-on, if the
And
council
one
wants to, you need to
potential
assign that.
add-on, right.
Right, if the council's interested in doing that this evening, you need to assign that as an add-on and then to read that resolution.
Councilman DePiero.
Okay.
5 and 11, he said?
So all of the assignments have been made, so
Yes,
I
sir.
think you
Yes,
turn
ma'am.
turn it over to Ms. Lim now.
To Jasmine?
Right.
Jasmine has a, I guess, point of information, we'll call it. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I don't know, don't think a lot of people know this, but Judy Silver is going to be retiring on or about May 31st. And as you know, we do not have a deputy clerk in place currently. We talked it over with John Inglesino this morning, and it looks like the best plan for now is to appoint a deputy clerk. I have someone that I've been in contact with who retired and still holds her clerk's license. And she is willing to come on board as the deputy clerk on a part-time basis. Have Judy overlap with Judy, have Judy train her in the ways that we do things in Parsippany. And then once Judy retires, Carol Kehoe would be appointed by the council as the interim clerk, and until until a permanent appointment is made. If the council elects to hire a clerk who is not yet certified, that clerk would be named as acting clerk. If it's actually a certified clerk, if you're able to find a certified clerk, then that person would be appointed as the clerk by the council. And we just want to let you know what the proposed process is so that you would know going forward. I don't know if the council wants to establish a subcommittee for interviews. We have reached out to the Clerks Association, to my professional association, and so the word is out there. We've actually received a few applications already. It's up to the council to decide how you want to proceed.
Councilman DePiero and I will do that.
Okay, so
We'll
you'll,
be the committee.
all right.
They're going to respond by reaching out to Judy or to you or?
To me.
To you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Have you found anybody with an interest yet?
We have 3 applications right now.
Oh, thank you.
I just want Judy to know we're not happy about this.
Yeah,
Those are very, very big shoes to fill.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I second that.
But we're happy for you for retiring.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. totally
May I,
understand.
Council President?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, this is the soccer club ordinance. Have you guys been able to talk this over with the administration? You're all
Not the
Okay.
soccer club.
great. Thank you. May 17, 2011, ordinance number 2011:04, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, authorizing a license agreement between the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills and the Parsippany Soccer Club, Inc., be read in title only on second reading and hearing held thereon.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance now, Council President.
You want to read it?
You need to have to open up for the public.
I'm sorry.
Open to the public.
You want to do it
Yeah.
before the public hearing? Yeah. Let them do it now.
All right. The mayor has a proclamation before I open the public hearing. Mayor?
No, he means regular.
Oh, the regular one?
Yeah.
You didn't want this one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is opening a public hearing on that ordinance that was just read, and on that ordinance only. Anybody wishing to speak, please approach the microphone, sign in, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Lowe has 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Take that one. My name's David Lowe, 16 Maplewood Drive, president of the Parsippany Soccer Club. Just wanted to thank Council President Fox and Council for your support in extending that lease at Reynolds Avenue. We're excited about getting work done over there, getting that park back to the stage. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe.
All right, where are we at? Mike, you doing the consent agenda?
Hearing no one else, you can close the public
Oh,
hearing.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I close the public hearing.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, before I continue, should I strike the word license? It's lease, correct? Is license?
It is a license
Okay.
in this
Just want to
instance.
make sure. Thank you. Thank you, Council. Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore be resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in newspaper according to law.
Second.
DePiero, second.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes. Who's up?
Public hearing.
I think,
The general public hearing.
Proclamation.
You want to do?
Yeah, do the proclamation now.
Before I open it up for a general public hearing, the mayor has something he'd like to do.
Gentlemen, starting.
no, Patty's doing a, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Proclamation of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Whereas the annual sale of buddy properties by the veterans of foreign wars of the United States have been officially recognized and endorsed by government leaders since 1922. And whereas VFW buddy properties were assembled by disabled veterans, the proceeds of this worthy fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans. And whereas the basic purpose of the annual sale of buddy properties by the veterans of foreign wars is elegantly reflected in the desire to honor the dead by helping the living. Now therefore, I, James R. Barbario, Mayor of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, do hereby urge the citizens of this community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to its support for the purchase of buddy properties on the day set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. I further urge all patriotic citizens to wear a buddy poppy as mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this country who have risked their lives in the defense of the freedoms which we continue to enjoy as American citizens. Dated the 17th day of May, 2011. Thank you so much for all you've done for our country.
Otherwise, it won't come up on the video.
He knows that everybody.
My name is Gary Ergen. I'm the commander of VFW Post 184 in Parsippany. And I have a few words.
Is that on, Mayor? Is it red or green there?
There's nothing.
Oh, here comes the audio-visual girl.
It's actually broke.
Well, that was complaining on the planning board.
Oh, it's on, it's on.
Sure, blame the planning board.
Okay. We'll get you another one real quick. Hold on.
It's on a cloud. I know that. That's one of them going to salute you. You muted that.
Counts 5 with batteries.
Awesome.
This is very nice. They'll hang in the post.
Thank you.
I think I know most of the folks up there.
I know this guy from Food Town.
Here you go.
I didn't know you were retired. Congratulations. No. Okay. Oh, yes, it's on. What I do want to say is that Congress has officially recognized May as National Military Appreciation Month. So let's thank our armed forces and veterans for their service to this country. The poppy is sold by the millions throughout the United States in the days before Memorial Day. The VFW urge you to make a donation to wear a poppy proudly, so those who gave their lives know they are not forgotten and that they can rest in peace. Thank you.
Please be as generous as you can with the poppies. You could give them $1 million and it won't pay for what they've already done for us. Won't touch it.
I do before I
Yeah,
leave.
you owe me one.
Maybe Mr. Fox, make sure everybody wears a poppy. Thank you.
We all bought them.
Mr. Erdman.
We just bought them.
No problem.
Okay,
No problem. Huh? I'm going to sell them.
okay, and I now open up for the general public hearing. You have 5 minutes to speak. You may
Hey, guys.
approach the podium and sign in and state your name and address, even if we know you.
Pat Patacha, 182 Hawkins Avenue. Mayor, last week I asked you the question regarding the school board with the water sewer.
Oh,
Did you
Jasmine,
get an answer on
can we give
that?
them a special rate? No, because they had a meeting. Am I correct? They said in the meeting that I met with them about giving them a special
They
rate?
said that they
I
had
never met with them.
a thing with the mayor about their rates.
They requested a special rate, but I never met with them and said yes to one.
So then I got to go back there. Huh?
Right. I'll call them, in fact, to
Find out
find.
what, I mean, they're saying that, and then nobody
Yeah,
knows.
Even the Knoll Country Club does not get a special rate. They pay full fare, too. As far as I know, all of the fire departments, the volunteer ambulance, they all pay sewer and water, too, don't they?
The fire department's
I thought they all did. No?
Okay, Mr. Simpson, you're on.
I just gave them stuff.
Yeah.
Justin.
That's why those guys are here. Oh, okay.
Good evening.
Hey, Mr. Simpson, how are you?
We're making a little
Mr.
progress
Simpson.
on
Your name
the...
and
Mr. Simpson.
name and
Robert
address for the-
Simpson, 30 Hillsinger Road, Mount Tabor. I see we're making a little progress on the horn thing. We got estimates here of as low as $30,000 up to $80,000 to put lights in there, wayside horn. What's the next step that...
Well, the next step is I just received this when I came back to the office in my email.
I didn't read it thoroughly.
So now I'm going to give the copy to the council so they can review it as well. And then we can make a decision how we're going to move forward with it.
Okay.
That's really what it comes to. So I'm going to hand this down to Judy. If you can make a copy
I
for
will.
each councilman, also myself,
I'll scan it in and email to everybody, so you have it. Save the paper.
and then from there, we'll have to, corroborate from that point on.
I know that there is a resolution made in 2008 to put alternate safety measures, which
Right.
this would qualify for.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Anybody else wish to address the council? Please approach the podium. Now I know why you wore a suit.
Roy Mesmer, 10 Drumlin Drive. I just came up here for one reason tonight now. Judy, going to miss you.
Thank you.
I
Very kind.
don't. I'm lost for words. When I heard last week that you were retiring, I don't think the public in this town, unless you've had direct contact with Judy, knows what a top-notch township clerk. I'm not good at this stuff, Judy, when I give compliments to somebody because I'm just lost for words. I
Well,
really miss you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so
You know,
much.
you and I have worked on a lot of things over the 10 or 12 years.
Correct.
And thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Longest-serving clerk, right, Judy?
Tom?
In the county?
Yes, I think so. Oh, I don't know about that, but
I
it
think
is
so,
in
no? That's what I
Parsippany for
thought.
sure.
Okay.
Maybe in the county,
I
too.
thought it was the county, yeah.
But
She's
I'm
the
not
best
sure.
one
Parsippany.
anyway.
Well,
best
thank
one.
you. Too kind.
Good evening, Tom Wyka, 1 Bennett Court. Last night I attended the planning board meeting to talk about 272 Parsippany Road. It's an office building I believe is completely vacant or nearly so. Interestingly enough, Freeholder Grassi was, a former council member, was representing the developer, and the whole situation of the building being vacant actually brought me back to an issue that was brought up maybe about a year and a half ago. And I went back to the council minutes from September 15th of 2009, where there was a pretty heated debate going on that night about a new ordinance for the Economic Development Advisory Committee. Ms. Grassi had pointed out how grave the situation is by noting that even though the council has consistently cut the township budget, taxes have still increased because of rateable loss. Ms. Grassi noted that Parsippany lost 5% of its ratables because of vacant commercial space and tax appeals. This tax burden has been shifted to the backs of the Parsippany homeowners. And she stated that if there was ever a time to create a Parsippany Economic Development Advisory Committee, it is now. That was September 15th of 2009. She said the EDAC will be a government-run arm to represent the interests of our residents. They'll be staffed with interested and hardworking and committed volunteers who are willing to take on this task. There are no negatives associated with the creation of the EDAC, only positives. She also noted that anyone who opposes this ordinance has a different agenda at hand with no interest in protecting the people of Parsippany, and she urged all the members of the council to support the ordinance. Then Councilman Barbario agreed with Ms. Grassi's comments and reiterated that the intention of this ordinance is to bring business to Parsippany, noting that Parsippany has lost $49 million last year on ratables. The creation of this advisory committee is in the best interest of the town, and he also reiterated that it was moving the township in the right direction, and that anyone who challenges it does not have the interests of Parsippany in mind. Well, it's May 17th, 2011, about a year and a half later, and I know, Mayor, I brought this up before. What is the status of the Economic Development Advisory Committee?
Right now, the status of the Economic Development Committee, I went over it yesterday, I took it out. For some reason, someone told me I'm going to be here today, but, you know, that's beside the point on the economic development. Right now, I am economic development in the town. I've been meeting with several developers, and we're moving along. A lot of promising things are going to happen. We had an amendment to the ordinance, okay, to the new one, which I wasn't really in favor of. So now I'm going back to the old ordinance, and from that point on, I'm just going to have it revised by the township attorney, and I'm going to move forward and start choosing what I have left to choose on the committee.
And what's the time frame for doing that at this point?
Well, I'm going to give it to the township attorney tomorrow,
Okay.
and then I hope to have it on by the next agenda.
Okay,
All right.
great, thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Anybody else wish to address the council? Seeing no one rise, I close the public portion of the meeting. Consent agenda, Councilman DePiero.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. So moved.
Second.
May I call the roll, Council President?
Please.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DiPiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes. Brian?
Minutes for approval, agenda meeting of April 5th, 2011, absent Fox and DiPiero.
Make a motion, accept those minutes?
Second?
Roll call.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stanton, did you make the motion and you're seconding it, John?
I made the motion, Mr. Ferrara seconded it.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DiPiero.
Abstain.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Abstain.
Thank you.
What do we got, the regular meeting at 4:12?
We're on to introduction of ordinances.
Ordinance number 5, down.
Number 5.
Okay. Vince? On ordinance number 5?
Ordinance number 2011:07, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, providing for various capital improvements for the Township of Parsippany Hills and appropriating $5,632,800. Therefore, and providing for the insurance of $5,101,160 in the general improvement bonds of the notice of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills to finance the same. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed by first reading at the meeting of the Township Council of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on May 17, 2011, at the said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at the meeting to be held on June 21st, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given the opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance in the notice of introduction, therefore being published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes?
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
May I?
Brian, please.
Ordinance number 2011:08. Ordinance of Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, New Jersey, providing for various water utility improvements for Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, appropriating $595,000, therefore, providing for the issuance of $565,250 general improvement bonds of note Township Parsippany-Troy Hills to finance the same. Be resolved, the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, passed first reading, meeting Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, held May 17, 2011. Said ordinance be further considered second reading, final passage meeting to be held June 21, 2011, 7:30 p.m. prevailing time. Soon thereafter, matter may be reached, municipal building, said township, which all persons interested shall be given opportunity to be heard concerning the ordinance. Be it resolved, clerk be authorized, directed to advertise said ordinance with a notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes?
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes. Ordinance number 2011:9.
That's me. That's me.
That's you?
That's what you told me. Ordinance 2011:09, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills and the County of Morris, New Jersey, providing for various sewer utility improvements for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills and appropriating $2 million therefore, and providing for the issuance of $1,900,000 in general improvement bonds or notes of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills to finance the same. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on May 17, 2011, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on June 21, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or soon thereafter, as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second?
Mr. Ferrera, was that second by Mr. Ferrera? Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes?
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes. Ordinance number 2011:10, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, providing for golf course and recreational utility improvements for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hill and appropriating $202,677 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $192,543 in general improvement bonds or notes of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills to finance the same. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Parsippany-Troy Hills held on May the 17th, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage in a meeting to be held on June the 21st, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached, at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk is authorized, directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction, therefore being published in the local newspapers according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes?
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
May I?
Go, Brian.
Ordinance number 2011:11. Ordinance amended supplementing Chapter 57, Personal Policies, Article 3, Section 57-3, Waiver Health Benefit Coverage, Code of Township Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved, the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, passed on first read at the meeting of Township Council Parsippany-Troy Hills held May 17, 2011. Said ordinance be further considered second reading, final passage, meeting to be held June 21, 2011, 7:30 prevailing time. Soon thereafter, the matter may be reached. Municipal building, said township, which all persons interested shall be given opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it resolved, clerk be authorized, directed to advertise ordinance with notice of introduction thereof published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Council President Fox, who seconded that?
That's correct.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Madam Council President.
Go ahead.
May 17, 2011, ordinance number 2011:12, an ordinance amending and supplementing Section 4-23, Division of Recreation of Article 8, Department of Parks, Forestry, and Recreation of Chapter 4, Administration of Government of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, held on May 17, 2011, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on June 21, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached, at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes. Vince? Vinnie?
Ordinance number 2011:01, 3, an ordinance, or is it 13? I see a period in there. An ordinance amending Section 285-4, Schedule A no parking fire zones, or Article 1 of Chapter 285, Parking of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, to establish fire zones and regulation parking at Indigan Brothers Plaza 53, 976 Tabor Road, Block 27, Lot 1101. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed at first reading at the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on May 17, 2011, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at the meeting to be held on June 21st, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter at the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all person interest shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published at the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes. You doing that, Mike?
Yeah. I make a motion to add to the agenda an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 290, Parks, Recreation Areas, and Public Lands, Article 2, Use Regulations, Permit Requirements of the Code, 2011:14.
Second.
Who's the second by Council President?
Brian?
I'll call the roll to add this on.
Please.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 290, Parks, Recreation Areas, and Public Lands, Article 2, Use Regulations, Permit Requirements of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on May 17, 2011, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on June 21st, 2011, at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance, with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law.
Second.
Council President, did you second that?
Yes, I did.
And I'll call the roll on that. Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes.
Now I'm going to read the resolution to go into closed session.
Right, we are going to go into closed session. Counselor, how long are we going to be out?
Probably about, let's see, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. If you wish to hang around, you may
Maybe
come back
longer.
for the close of the public meeting.
Do we have
Have a good
any
night,
action?
everyone.
I have to read the
See you. Have a
resolution.
good night.
Do we have any
Whereas,
action to take after?
not at this time, correct?
Okay.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss contract negotiations, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once a matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Second is by Mr. DePiero. Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Council President Fox.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, there's no action tonight, right?
No action to
All
be
right.
taken as
If I
far
don't
as
see
that
anyone,
clerk.
have a great night.
Take care.
I'm here.
Council President, we're back on video.
Okay, reopening the closed session at 9 p.m., or the open session, I should say. Going into the open session at 9 p.m.
Madam Clerk, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, the second was by
Nick.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Cicero?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrera?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Council President Fox?
Yes. Time is 9:01.
Have a good night, everyone. See you, John.
Nice job, John.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't want to...
Try to put it into his lane.